Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is episode 94. In this show, we're going to be discussing how you can turn your knowledge into an online business. I think in this age of redundancies and worry about your financial position for you and your family, building a business based on your expertise is a great idea. I've got my regular co-host with me, Kurt. Kurt, would you like to introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
Absolutely, Jonathan. My name is Kurt Von Annen. I own an agency called Mañana No Mas. We focus largely on membership and learning type websites. I also work directly with WP-Tonic and Lifter LMS.
Thanks for that, Kirk. Like I say, I just want to say that we've been getting a lot of new listeners and viewers to the show. I'm really pleased that I think we're doing a great job in trying to educate people about the great opportunities, and also that you should look at WordPress because of digital ownership, and it's the best way to have as much control over your online business as feasibly possible. But we look at all solutions and we try and cover every subject, not only WordPress, but marketing and other platforms that we like to have an even hand in this episode, but we do have a bias around WordPress. So we're going to go into this subject, but before we go into the meat and potatoes, I've got a message from one of the major sponsors of this show. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
Hi there, e-commerce store owner. At Omnisend, we help more than 100,000 e-commerce customers just like you sell their products. We're an all-in-one email and SMS marketing platform that helps you reach your customers, grow your audience, and increase sales. In fact, our customers have seen incredible results with Omnisend, averaging $72 in revenue for every single dollar spent. And if you ever have a question, our award-winning customer support team is available 24/7 every single day. That's one of the reasons we have more than 6,000 glowing reviews and ratings all across the web. So get started with Omnisend today and start growing your business with better email and SMS marketing.
We're coming back, folks. I also want to point out that we've got some great resources. We've got a course that shows you how to build your membership website using the best modern WordPress technology. It's actually developed by Kirk himself. It does a fantastic job. It really shows you how to build the course from beginning to end in the most quickest and most powerful way possible, using all the modern WordPress best practices and tools. Plus, we've got a curated list of the best WordPress plugins and services, so you don't have to trawl the internet to find the right tool. To get all these free resources, all you have to do is go over to wp-tonic.com/deals, wp-tonic.com/deals, and you find all the goodies there. What more could you ask for? So let's go straight into it. So I think there's various ways that what would I like to do in the first part of this show, Kirk, is just go through all the different things you can do to make money from online from your experience, and then go in the second half of the show, go into a methodology that I get from the startup world, the bootstrap startup world, from Rob Rowling, who does a fantastic podcast, folks. Startups for the Rest of Us. I would highly recommend it. I mercilessly copy Rob's methodologies, but I always plug his podcast, so I think he doesn't mind me stealing all his best ideas. He's also a friend of mine. So what do you reckon? Do you think that's a good way to approach this? Give some ideas about how people can make money online, and then go into a methodology with an emphasis on courses. What do you reckon, Kurt?
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. But before we do that, I want to kind of give like a motivational quick talk. And that is,
Oh, yes, please. I need motivation, Kurt.
a lot of people hear this content, a lot of people see this kind of content and they go, oh, well, I just don't have that, or I'm not skilled, or I wish I must be nice, I don't have that. And I just want to encourage people, everybody has a course within them. Every, no matter what circle you're in, at some point, that circle looks to you to have the answer to something, or they ask your advice about something. And that is probably something you've taken for granted as a knowledge bank, or something that you're familiar with that other people look to you as the expert in. And that's the thing. Don't assume everybody has the same knowledge you do. You are unique and you've got something special to offer. And once you identify that specialty, that's what this talk is about, right? So everyone's got something special. You have to identify what that specialty is, and then we can execute.
Yeah, I'm special, aren't I, Kirk? I've proven in the 2 years you worked with me how special I am. But the other factor, folks, is that at the right stage, but take this is a process, but anybody, the most successful membership platforms are those at the right stage that really build community. And anybody can build community. You don't have to be in the top 10% of your profession to offer something online, which leads to you building a community. And in the next few years, this element of building community will become more and more important. The only proviso I put here is a lot of the people that we advise at WP-Tonic tend to want to build community a bit too early. But on the other hand, if you attempt to build this mystical thing called community at the right stage, you will have a very successful online business. But it has to be done at the right stage. And a lot of people want to build that too early. But if you listen to this podcast and you decide that we are great partners at WP-Tonic, we can assist you so you avoid that pitfall. So let's go straight into it. So we deal with a lot of coaches, we deal with a lot of experts, we deal with a lot of different types of organisation, and Kirk really helps me and the rest of the team at WP-Tonic with that. So, like I say, we deal with a lot of people in the coaching area, spiritual coaching, fitness, all sorts of areas. So I've got here individual and group coaching. I think that's a great way to start to attempt to make money online. Got any thoughts about this, Kurt?
Yeah, there's so many different ways to phrase individual and group coaching. It doesn't have to be, I'll meet you at a coffee shop, and we'll sit over a couple of lattes at a table. A lot of people get this confused. You can consult somebody directly over a Zoom call, not even on a website, and start to build the framework of what you think your consulting will be. The coaching, remember, coaching and consulting are different. Consulting is like giving advice, and coaching is like using skillful questions to pull the information from the client. And when we do group coaching, there's a lot of power in that. Some people might call that a mastermind or office hours in a support situation. But it's a really great way to start building connection. And that connection leads to the opportunity to build that community Jonathan was talking about.
Yeah. I'm going to have emphasis on WordPress here. If you're in coaching or group coaching, there are three major elements. Obviously, you're going to need a website. That, in my opinion, that should be based on WordPress, Gutenberg, and Cadence WP. You're going to need a scheduling, booking scheduling. I think the easiest one in the WordPress space, there are some SaaS solutions as well, but the best value and gives a really great experience is Fluent Booking, which we provide at WP-Tonic as part of the hosting package. Obviously, you need hosting as well. You need hosting, you need a WordPress a website, cadence, you need a booking scheduling, and then you need a mechanism to do video consulting, either group, individual or group. The easiest way to do this is to have a Zoom account. There are other players. Kirk uses one, he uses Zoom, I use Zoom, but there's also some web-based solutions. They utilize the browser Zoom. You download our app, which is available for OS, for Mac, for Android, for PC, for Linux. They cover everything. Basically, it costs $150. I think I'm correct in saying, with the $150 a year version, you can do a webinar group coaching session up to 100 people. I think I might be wrong here, but the last time it was in my memory. I think Kirk is checking it now as we speak. I might be totally wrong there because they regularly change it. But I think there's an upper limit on the normal lower plan, which is $150. You can do group webinars, but I might be wrong.
I thought you had to do the add-on for the webinars, because I think it's just meetings with the pro, and then the webinar is a add-on.
Yeah, I thought that it was up. Yeah, I might be wrong there. I might be wrong. We will come back on that. The add-on, depending on how many people, I think it used to start at $40, but I think they've increased the price on that. What's the alternative? You use a web alternative, don't you?
I use a few of them, to be honest with you. I've really grown to like the simplicity of using Whereby. Whereby is a free service, and you can create a room in the browser account, and then it gives you a code, and you can put that code directly in anywhere in your website and display the live meeting.
That covers it one-to-one. What about group?
Well, it does groups too, right? You can have a meeting of up to 200 people, and that's on the free plan.
Oh, right.
But here's where everyone tries to confuse it. So when I'm talking to customers and they start saying, well, I want to customize this, and I want to schedule this through the site, and I want to record the sessions, then I'm like, okay, let's just go back to Zoom, because Zoom does that kind of stuff out of the box for that pro set. And with Whereby is very, very capable, but it's more like, in my mind, it's more like for the developer. So you kind of have to dive in kind of deep and really select the things that you want to do.
Right, but the same thing you could say about Zoom, folks, because if you want to embed the Zoom on the website, you've got to set up an app, and you have to. It's best to work with somebody, a hosting provider like WP-Tonic. It's not technical. Well, it's a process, and if you've done it a few times, it's really easy. But it is a process to initially set up a Zoom app. They just made it a little bit difficult for security reasons. But the Zoom or the service that Kirk's just mentioned are the two easiest ways to have somebody log into your website, and they can have the consulting session and link it in your WordPress powered website. On to the next thing, offering online courses with an element of personal coaching or group coaching. The easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is to use Lifter LMS. The free product, or the next one up, which I think is Earth. It's just the easiest way to do it, with the free version of Lifter, with the buying of one or two add-ons, or you buy the Earth package, or you get the full Infinity if you host with WP-Tonic. It's the easiest way on WordPress to deal with payments, deal with the organisation of your course, deal with just the experience of the users, and fitting it into a coaching environment. and it's a great way to make income online based on your experience. What do you reckon, Kurt?
Well, I started with Lifter LMS as a customer. I can't believe it. It's almost 10 years ago. It's 9 years plus. And it was the customer service and the community in Lifter that attracted me as a customer. And now look, years later, I'm actually part of the team and helping onboard other people to the platform. To me, it is the most complete, most affordable solution for the things that most people want to do as a course creator.
Yep.
And update, Zoom, if you want to do webinars, is $690 if you purchase the annual plan, and it handles up to 500 attendees.
Oh, you got to buy. Yeah, I was wrong on that. I'm sorry. It used to be, you can buy it month to month though, can't you?
Let me see. Because what I did was I went in as myself. I couldn't find it as a person visiting.
No, they bury it, don't they?
$79 a month.
Yeah.
And I hate to do this, but my doorbell just rang. I'll be right back, Jonathan.
Yeah,
You're on your
you'll
own
be
for a
right.
moment.
I will waffle on. So that Kirk's just confirmed that it's 79 month to month or around 600. That's why people are looking at some alternatives. There's this alternative, which will be in the show notes that Kurt mentioned, that has a really great free element, and you can embed it on your website, and it's up to 100 to 200 people. That's a great solution. The other way you can make money online is look at ebooks, PDFs, physical products that you're selling online. A lot of people, these have a broad term called information products, digital information products. They're a great way to get into the online world of making money. They also can build your email list, and then if you want to market to that email list, you can then build a course, and at the same time you can offer individual group coaching or consultancy. These people can be your initial champions, where you make an offer about your course. It all kind of fits in that area. Hopefully you can see you've got a lot of options here. The final element about the different things you could think about that will enable you to turn your experience, your personal knowledge into an online business in 2024 is something I originally mentioned, which is called community. This unicorn concept that you're going to hear a lot of, in my opinion, in the next couple of years. The reason why I think you're going to hear a lot of it is because of AI, because of artificial intelligence, because of these language models. It's just going to increase the amount and the sophistication of content that you can produce through AI. And there's going to be, which is great, I think AI is a great thing in some ways, but community is going to get more and more important. And how do you build that on WordPress? Well, if you're using Lifter LMS, they do offer an add-on that offers an element of increased community functionality. It's a glorified forum. It doesn't offer, if you've been on a forum, where the confusion lies is there's a difference between a Facebook group experience and what a forum is, right? Most people that have been online have joined forums. They've become less popular, but for targeted communities, it's a great idea. You could say, but then you have this Facebook, and you also get a similar experience on Slack, and there are other Discourse and other platforms that have this group experience. Now, there is what Lifter LMS offers doesn't combine the forum with the Facebook group experience. If you're expecting that, you're not going to get it. But what it does offer, I think it's a great first step. At the present moment, the only solution that's mature enough in the WordPress space that deals with combining these two concepts is BuddyBoss. It's a great platform. I would suggest that you don't look at this straight away. You need to look at offering other digital products and services and build your tribe, build your community before going down that particular route, because based on my experience, too many people want to jump into that and they haven't really built their community yet. What do you reckon, Kurt?
I agree 100% on that part of your statement. The Lifter LMS social learning is a really great first foray into social and community, because it automatically sets up little discussion areas for each of your courses, each of your memberships. And that serves for a lot of people as that group function, right? So everybody that's the member of the We're the Coolest People group can go and have a discussion in the We're the Coolest People, discussion panel.
Would you agree? It's not exactly a forum metaphor, is it? But it leans more to the forum metaphor than the Facebook. But it's not quite a classical forum. It is a bit of a hybrid, but it kind of leans a little bit more.
Yeah, it's for the individual that gets their own timeline and news feed. It feels like Facebook in that regard, right? Because you get a profile page, it looks kind of like Facebook, and it records all of your actions, right? And so that is very Facebooky. The discussions that you get, the discussion threads that pop up in the courses and memberships are more forum-like, but they're really discussions. And then the other thing to remember about Lifter LMS is out of the box, it integrates with BuddyPress and BBPress. And so those are things that are open source software that you can add and integrate with right out of the box to get you that kind of next level forum experience if you didn't want to, do the full Monty with BuddyBoss.
There are options. I personally wouldn't go down that route. I would use the Lifter LMS, and then if I want, you really at some stage you've got to look at BuddyBoss. There are some other solutions, but I don't want to go. I think this is a good place for us to go for our half break. Hopefully we're giving you some great ideas and giving you some advice around how you could utilize WordPress and some of the best solutions. In the second part, we're going to go into what I think is really important and what a lot of people miss. They jump into building their course too early. I know that sounds contradictory because this is the Membership Machine show, but all will be explained to you in the second half of the show. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
Tired of hosting providers that can't handle high traffic loads? Conversio is here to help. Our platform can handle any amount of traffic, all without slowing down or crashing. With immediate Slack support, performance optimization, and a team that thrives on resolving technical challenges, your e-commerce business is in safe hands. Learn more about Conversio at conversio.com.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Lifter LMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, Lifter LMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
We're coming back, folks. We've delved into how you could make some income and build your tribe in 2024, build your community, your tribe. But before we go into the second half, I want to point out that we've got a great community resource for you at the Membership Machine Show, and that's the Membership Machine Show Facebook group. If you're looking for a group of people that are either really into WordPress or people like yourself trying to build a membership website or a community, why don't you join the Membership Machine Show Facebook group? I'm posting almost every day some content hopefully you will find, and there's also those group of people I'm sure that can give you some advice. So go over there, it's totally free. We'd love you to be part of that community. So this is the bit that's a bit counterintuitive, because this is the Membership Machine Show, but I honestly believe a lot of people, unless they've already built a tribe or got experience in online marketing, they put the cart before the horse, as I put it. They build the course and they think people will come. They will come. But the truth is nobody's coming. Nobody. So you need to get your first students. You need to identify the need. You need to build you need to find out, is there a real need or want for your proposed course? Offering digital products like PDFs, digital downloads, building your email list, getting people to sign up, build, onto some list, which we covered in the first half of the show. That's why it's so important. But if you haven't done any of this, do not worry. You can still have a successful launch. What you got to do though is identify the need or want. Then you need to set up a landing page. You need to actually pre-sell. The pre-sell will prove that it's worth, and I mean, not there's a certain group of gurus online that say, you can do a pre-launch with no experience, sign up for our own course, and you'll get hundreds of people. You wouldn't be able to cope with hundreds of people. It would turn into a hot mess very quickly. What the pre-sale process is about is getting at least half a dozen people to sign up, to show interest, and then from that initial batch, get hopefully half a dozen that will fill in a survey, that will have an online Zoom with you, that will tell you why they signed up, give you some insight about what they would like to see in the course. And then based on that input, you build what I call a minimum viable course that comes from the startup world, the bootstrap startup world, the minimum viable product. I call it the minimum viable course based on those interviews. This is the way to have a successful launch. What do you reckon, Kurt?
I get so turned off by this whole, multi-level marketing approach to creating course builders. This idea that I'm going to take a picture of myself next to a Ferrari and tell you that you could become a millionaire if you make a course. It's like Amway, Melaleuca, Forex trading, and Bitcoin all rolled into one. And nobody wants to hear the message the way you and I are preaching it today. Nobody
I
wants to
think the
hear.
podcast is in. It's actually.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
actually it's outgrown my 10-year podcast, but my 10-year my other world, folks, is in the WordPress professional market, which is a very small world. But this is actually getting more downloads and more listens than my 10-year-old podcast, Kurt.
yeah, but again, I started out saying, let's say something motivational, right? And then we go, hey, get ready to lock yourself in for the grind, right? You're gonna have to build an audience from scratch. When we say pre-sale, we're talking half a dozen to a dozen people. We're not talking huge numbers. And when Jonathan said you couldn't handle hundreds of students, he wasn't lying, because depending on how you set up
They've got
quizzes, courses,
thousands of questions, folks. They just
yeah.
don't sign up and they go through the course. They will have support tickets, folks.
And those experiences, those interactions help you create the automations and the pathways to clear that path for future students. And so you learn and you tweak, you learn and you tweak, and every adventure is different. So different people, different avatars, different however you phrase it, and so different needs. And so as you fill those needs and you begin to take the burden off your shoulders and leverage it more on the tech side, then you can increase those numbers. And it comes very organically, very naturally, not synthetically. You don't buy a mailing list of 10,000 people and just spam a bunch of people to take your course. That's the worst advice. So everything that we're saying here about organic, slow growth is 100% on the money.
Yeah. What this is about, folks, in an ever more competitive market, is that the money's in the niche. If you can find unless you have a very large tribe through some medium like radio, your best-selling book author, or you have a large YouTube channel, you've got a large, whatever the online tribe you've got, unless you've got that, the only way, legitimate way, but a way that will work, in my opinion, is to find a broad category but then find a niche in that broad category. Like, if you think you're going to compete in the general category of health and fitness and you haven't got a large tribe already, you are deluding yourself. But it doesn't mean that you can't be successful. You just got to find your niche in that broad category, and then your course really's got to meet a need, a want. And the more you know about that particular niche audience, what their real problems are, so you diminish the guesswork. The reason why a lot of people fail on their business in general, and I've learned this the hard way, and I think Kirk's learned this the hard way as well, is it doesn't matter how much experience you've got in a particular industry and sector, unless you really have those initial interviews and you really find what are the wants or needs of you are just making educated guesses, and they might be right or they might be wrong. Most of the time they're going to be wrong, because what you think the audience really cares about, you find that they don't care anything about, and the things you think they wouldn't care about, they really want in the course. And the reason why this is important, those first people, they need to become your evangelists. They need to be people that really love what you're giving them, and they go on social media and they start talking about it, and they start talking to their other people they know online. This is the only way that you'll start to get traction. What do you reckon, Kurt?
I always hesitate to say only for anything, but you got to get those channels of communication open. Earlier when Jonathan was saying, don't make the course right away. Start to build your audience, build your tribe. Well, what are you interested in? Like Jonathan said, health and fitness. Well, if you joined a health and fitness group or association, through that, you would find out they'd probably have categories, right? Maybe fitness for people that are diabetic, fitness for people that are overweight, fitness for people that are handicapped, fitness for people that like bicycling. And then you'd go, oh, okay, I want to focus on this channel. And then you get into that channel and you just, without selling, you just make yourself an expert in that field. You answer questions, you pose ideas, and you start to see, do I have any influence growing within this group? And then if you do, you're like, okay, I'm on a pathway. So now how would I convert this knowledge into something that would be attractive enough for people in this channel to come to my page?
Yeah, and I got here on my show notes, selling the personal way. I know it's contradictory because we're talking about online, but these first 12 sales, you're going to probably have to approach these people through email, through social media, through, hey, I'm thinking, I've got this idea, I've got this page, can you go and have a look at it and tell me what you think? I'm thinking of building a course. And you're probably going to have a few conversations with people and then have a Zoom with them or ring them up or whatever. And if you're in full-time employment or you got other commitments, you ain't got the time to interview hundreds of bloody people anyway. But you don't need that anyway, because that's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to, from their feedback, for them saying yes, to work on your landing page, your pre-offer, then from their initial input, you build the actual minimum viable course. Then you get those people to take the course. You're going to lose some ain't going to do it, but there should be enough so you can have a discussion about, after they've finished the course, they give you honest feedback. Then on that, you modify the course. You offer them some extra one-to-one coaching, whatever it is. They hopefully become evangelists, and your course is even more yours. You've done your minimum viable. You've, based on the input, you modified the course so it's stronger. It's got market fit. It's got course fit, as I call it. It's been more focused at the target audience, the niche audience. Hopefully I'm giving some real knowledge here, because if you honestly feel that if you do follow this advice, you will get success. It's just loads of people, they just build a course and they don't go through this methodology, this process. And anybody in the startup world, I've done it, Kirk's done it, most people do it. You're just throwing stuff online. You're just throwing paint on the wall and you're hoping it sticks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If you spend a ton of time building a course, you really, without going through this process, you really are spending a lot of time and effort on something that you have. If you don't have this previous audience, you are just, you might be successful, you might be lucky, or you might not be. Most people aren't. They spend a lot of time building a course and they don't sell one membership, do they, Kurt?
Well, that's the sad part of it, right? Because there's so many other things involved in any business startup, and that is giving yourself a financial runway, giving yourself enough padding and time to be able to experience, some growth hurdles along the way and eventually lead to a success. And most people don't have the time or patience to let the project, kind of ferment and become what it could be. So yeah, a lot of people don't get the first paying client, the first paying membership. And that's sad, because some of the products are really good. It's just, they they haven't done the hard work behind the creative part.
Yeah, and unless you go through this process, there's no point in spending money on Facebook adverts or YouTube adverts
No.
or anything, because if you haven't got market fit, course fit, as I call it, if your copy, your landing page hasn't been modified from the input that you've got from your first batch of beta testers, as I call them, but they're beta students. If you haven't modified the copy and modified what's in the course, you're not going to get that product fit. It's just not going to gel with the target audience.
Yeah.
And
No
so
conversion.
throwing money onto that, yeah, you're going to get eyeballs, but they're not going to sign up because the copy does not relate to the needs of the target audience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if you don't have conversion,
I wish I knew this. I'm a slow learner. I wish I knew this 12, 15 years ago. But it's I can't believe I've been running WP-Tonic for about 8 years to say I've been, but it's taken me, because I was a typical developer. I dismissed all this. I didn't want to deal with this stuff. I actually thought, because there are a lot of charlatans in the online marketing world, folks.
oh yeah.
There just is, folks. And I didn't want any part of it. But on the other hand, hopefully you're listening to this, and hopefully we're not boring you, because this is going to save you from failure and from giving up on your dream of making money from your knowledge and experience. Because if you honestly feel that if you follow this methodology, nothing's guaranteed in life, but if you follow this religiously, you're increasing your chances of having real success a lot. What do you reckon, Kurt?
The conversion numbers are key, Jonathan, what you're describing. To me, paid ads only amplify whatever's going to happen. So a paid ad can speed up the process of lack of conversions, support tickets, buybacks, per chargebacks, cancellations. If the product truly is great and has market fit, it can also accelerate success. But if you follow the plan and you do the hard work we're talking about, you'll get to a certain level of success and a high conversion rate without the support on the back end. And once it's dialed in, well, then those paid ads can help accelerate that positive energy. So I don't want to turn people away from paid ads and say paid ads don't work, but paid ads is like an amplifier. Like, we all know that kid in our neighborhood that's booming music that nobody likes through an amp and a big box, right? That is amplifying bad results. But if we throw in a little smooth jazz, I might even like it from down the street.
Well, I hope, as Kirk knows, I'm fanatical about the message on the WP-Tonic homepage to an extent where it must drive Kirk, well, I think it has drive Kirk bonkers. Semi-bonkers is much more calmer than me. I can be calm in some surprising, but then I can get worked up, can't I? I'm a strange mixture, but at least I'm aware of it myself, Kurt. Yeah, I'm religious about it, but hopefully next year I would have grown the WP-Tonic business to the stage where I feel that I can actually spend money on paid advertising, which will be the gasoline on the fire. And it will, I feel, will make a big difference to the traction that WP-Tonic gets. So that's my plan for next year, which is rapidly coming up, is that we're going to be going into the area of paid advertising. So it does have a place, but you've got to prove that the business model is meeting the needs, that you have the internal processes to handle increase sign up. You've got to get things, because otherwise it's just going to be a total waste of money, and actually it probably put you off the whole thing.
Yep.
So But if you do follow this mythology, I honestly do feel that you will get success. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and you're just going to need a little bit of patience. Where do you think YouTube fits into everything I've said? Do you think people should be pushing free content? Where is, because this is where also a lot of people struggle, don't they? You know,
They
we've got
do.
about 10 minutes before we end this conversation. Where does the free content, where does the stuff that you're producing, where does it fit into this, Kurt, in your own mind?
There's voices on both sides of this argument. I mean, if you listen to guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's going to say, put your best stuff out for free, put it all over the place, let everybody see it. They'll recognize you as the expert, and they'll come running to you for one-on-one consulting or business growth. And on one hand, you go, man, that really makes sense. And on the other hand, you're like, well, if I gave away all my best stuff for free, why would anybody pay me for anything? So there is a bit of a struggle there. Do I think people need to be on YouTube? I don't think it can hurt. But here's where I give everybody this word of caution, especially my new clients in a startup arena. People have these goals. I got to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can do this, this, and this. I got to get to 5,000 subscribers so I can get this, this, and this. And I'm here to tell you, the numbers really don't matter. I mean, numbers matter, but the quality of your viewership and the length that people watch your content. If you have 5,000 followers that you bought off of a farm somewhere, a server farm somewhere, and those aren't real followers and they're signing in and signing out after 3 seconds of video, those numbers are fake. And that doesn't do anybody any good. You're much better off to have 100 subscribers and have people watching 3 or 4 hours of your content in a month than you are not having real numbers.
Yeah. I see where Jalatek, because I've got actually, I think he's a little bit too intense for me, and I don't agree with everything, but I agree with him a little bit more than I agree with somebody like Tim Harris, that the 4-hour week. I really have never bought into that, and I think you can, after you've done this and you've established membership websites, if you really build the processes and you get a couple of people helping you out, they can be very successful without the level of a commitment, that's the wrong term, from a lot of the stuff you do in business isn't actually moving the business forward. It's just
Hamster on a wheel.
It's administrative stuff. It's stuff that you can get other people to do for you, which will free up. I would say about over 60% to 70% of the stuff you do in a business doesn't move the business forward at all, right? So it is really possible, and that membership and online businesses, you don't have to be accessible and they're like more traditional types of businesses. So there's definitely in the core, because it's just that the idea that you can run any business with just 4 hours of input per week, in my opinion, is just nonsense. It's just utter nonsense. But there was a kernel of truth in it, because even if something is pushed to the extreme, there has to be an element of truth, because it wouldn't get any traction at all. So Vanacek, even though he's style, and I think he's the totally opposite. You definitely do not have to put 80 hours. That kind of commitment in the end just leads to total burnout. So there's a middle road. But if you follow the path that me and Kirk have laid out, I'm sure that you can get success in 2025, because we're entering the final quarter 24. I have no idea where this year has gone, It's just one total blur for me. But I think with Kirk's help and the rest of the WP-Tonic team, we have made considerable progress with the business. We've had our ups and downs. This podcast has got well established. I'm very happy. If you want to show your support for the podcast, please consider joining the Membership Machine Facebook group. That is the best way you can show that you appreciate the content that me, Kirk, Haroon, and the guests, the content that we've produced in this podcast. So please consider joining the Facebook group. That every person that signs up for that, I'm very appreciative. We will be back next week with something that will help you build your membership website on WordPress or whatever platform you're considering, so you can avoid the mistakes so many people make. We will be back next week, folks. Bye.